Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Now, did Scopely lie to us about upgrade tokens? Also, is Northstar going to be all that in a bag of potato chips? Am I going to get lucky here today? I do plan on spending my my huge hoard of cords, or some of them, some of the hoard of cores, to unlock Northstar here today for you all. And how good is he really? He's going to be a required character for the Spotlight raids. But actually, to be honest, I think that his kit is going to be really useful as a plug-and-play character in a lot of game modes. So we're going to talk about exactly what he does and why you should be thinking about him. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Okay, so before we get to the orbs for North Star, I want to talk about the showcase that just went live today. It is a 34-day showcase. Now, this is really long considering today is the first new character, North Star, and then we have two more, Guardian and Sasquatch after that. At least I presume that's the order. And what's interesting about that is that that's quite a long time, and they've kind of endeavored now, anyways, to make sure that all of the characters are out free to play. So that suggests that you won't get Guardian unlocked till at least like or sorry, not Guardian, Sasquatch, or whoever's the last character, about a month from now, which is kind of pretty crazy. So this is going to be a very slow free to play release anyways. And the thing I want to talk about first is the rewards for test drive and story mode, because there was something where they said that we were going to get free tokens for, or at least newer players were going to get free tokens for Sunfire and Wolverine. Now, players like my alt account who have never touched these characters would benefit from that, but I don't exactly know who that is meant to go towards, and who is actually going to get it. Anyways, make sure you do the test drive because you're going to get some free shards. There's actually 50 Nightcrawler, which is really nice because he's a 1-star unlock, I'm pretty sure. So for new players, at least you'll get this for free. And then 50 Gambit and 50 Sunfire and Wolverine. So there's some decent X-Men shards in there as well. And then in story mode, you can actually do all of this. Now, I'm pretty sure this is additional shards. So I think that's actually 100 Nightcrawler. I'm pretty sure this is on top of the test drive as well. So 50 more Sunfire. I don't think Wolverine was in there, but Gambit, Nightcrawler, 3 of the Extreme X-Men. So that's pretty nice, actually. No Forge or Sunspot. But then there's some Sunfire more for Alpha Flight. And then as you go through, of course, there's actually quite a few nodes. So you're going to get first time rewards. Make sure you do all of this stuff. As long as you have X-Men characters, which you should pretty much by now be able to do that, you'll have no problems. But you won't be able to do the challenge difficulty until... Actually, you could do the first couple, Wolverine and Sunfire. Until it starts hitting North Star, which is right here. So you can do the first 4 nodes as long as you have them upgraded high enough to be able to do these nodes, which is about 30k, which is not that hard. What the hell? Oh, I was like, what the hell is that? That's Mr. Negatives. Forgot. I was like, what icon is that? Anyways, what I want to talk about is this blog here, is the upgrade tokens, right? And so they talked about it. This came out before Old Man Logan's trial and was talking about basically how you would get tokens and where else you would see them. And then here at the bottom, it says you'll initially see these in the Old Man Logan trials. So we saw that and how that operated for new players joining during the Alpha Flight showcase. So again, what does new players mean? And it says joining during the upcoming Alpha Flight showcase. So does that then mean that only if you made an account from today onwards that you'll see tokens for this? I don't understand why they're doing this if that's the case, because this is something that would benefit all players, honestly, because a lot of these are reworked characters that nobody has ever touched. So if people have them at level 1, they should be able to take advantage of these tokens, and this is something that they really need to work on. This part here, where it's the new players who joined in recent months to help jump Cosmic Crucible, I'm pretty sure I triangulated this with my Discord that it had to be under 70 days played. I tried to work that out, and I'm pretty sure that that's what I came down to, and it was sent via the mail, where you got something like a G12, I think, across the board for the entire Masters of Evil team as well. So it was Kang and Masters of Evil up to G12. I'm pretty sure it was that, level 60 or so. And so again, this was only for people who were kind of like less than 70 days played, and I don't really understand that. So I'm not sure who's benefiting, or if they lied. They could have just flat out lied, and if they're not giving this out, that's a whole nother problem. And then I've tried to get them to say something on this. I've pushed them for days to, answer this question, and they haven't been able to do that for me, which is incredibly disappointing because it's their own feature that they're trying to roll out, and they have no answers for us. So very confused. But let me know in the comments down below if you do end up seeing these tokens for especially Wolverine and Sunfire. Let me know what your days played are, and whether or not you joined recently or not, and things like that. Anything important to understanding like who's actually getting it. But moving on, anyways, I'm going to do that later on after this video here. I want to unlock Northstar. I want to talk about him as a character, but I'm going to be testing my luck to see how good it is because he's honestly some character. Here, he is a character that I think is going to be incredibly useful, and why, and also part of it's honestly because I'm Canadian, because he's a gay character. So yes, I am going to. If newsflash, if people didn't know about me, yeah. So at least we have that in common here with North Star. At least I do, anyways. And I just want to kind of unlock the new team early on, anyways, because they're going to be incredibly useful for the spotlight raids. Where the hell is his orb? Did I miss it? Isn't? Does he not have an orb? Where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. It's way down here. The Proud Canuck Orb. Okay, so basically, he is a 100 shard character unlock. So unfortunately, this means that if I have terrible luck here today, this could take me upwards to 10,000 cores in order to unlock. But hey, maybe we're going to get really lucky. Maybe we'll get a good drop. And then after we see how lucky I am or not, we will then move on to talking about the character kit and why you should work on him. So I'm going to do this one at a time. I've done this 10x before, and I feel like my luck was worse. Some people like to pull bulk orbs and feel like their luck is a little bit better, but I'm going to do this one at a time. So hopefully we'll get more than just a 6. Of course, the odds are never really that good for these kind of orbs because almost half the time you're getting a 6. And actually, 6 or an 8 is really, at the end of the day, it's like 75% chance. So for me to get anything like 20 and above, that's what would be really good. But hey, anytime we pull more than a 6, we're saving some cores. So let's see if luck is on my side today. Doesn't seem to be starting that way. Core orb number 3. Oh, 10. Okay, so if we get like another 8, the more shards we get, the more cores I'm going to save. And I hope I'm not going too... Oh, another blue. A 12. That's good. That saves me 675 cores. So, it's not the pure maximum of 10,000 that it's going to cost me. Let's see, do I get a pink drop? That'd be really great. Come on. Lag? Maybe lag's in my favor. It's not. It is not. But let's carry on anyway. So that was 4 orbs, right? For 40 shards. Okay. Could be better. Could be better. 8? Fuck. These are awful. A lot of people are probably also wondering, why am I doing it this way? There's an 8. That's not bad. And that's because these are all cores that I've accumulated through the arena. I do not spend money on new characters because it's very expensive. A 100 shard unlock is $80 Canadian plus tax. It ends up being around $88 or so. Very expensive and not something that I'm willing to do personally. So I hoard up a lot of my cores through the arena because I do pretty well in the top 20, top 10 usually around my payouts. So that's fine there. What are we at now? We're at 60 shards. I'm gonna go to 100, of course. 8. Okay, so I've probably saved about 2 or 3 orbs now at this point, but nothing major, like nothing big. So 6, a lot of 6s. That's really shitty. Come on. Come on. Blue? Blue 12. That's another 675 saved. So we're almost there. 86 shards. Can we end this with something really good? 92. Okay, so this is not quite the sheer maximum, but it's not far off, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Was that it? Yeah, that's 102. Oh my god. You know what? I'm just gonna pull one more because sometimes this has happened before. Where on the very last orb, got something good. Ah, damn it. Okay, didn't have. Okay, I should have 8. That's fine. So we got a round number at least. We're at 110. Okay, so that's an unlock for Northstar. How much did it cost me? Just under 10,000 cores. I think that was about 9,000 maybe. I forgot what I think it was like 20,600. I think that's where I was at. So probably just over 9,000, but I did pull an extra orb. So there's that. So that's Northstar unlocked. So what we're going to do, we're going to unlock him. I'm actually going to take him up pretty much all the way, 95, G18, and then we're going to talk about his kit and why he's going to be so important to this game. All right, and we're back, and we've pretty much managed to max out Northstar for now anyways. And for those of you who did not know what his unique was, it is Luminium in this case, which is shared with characters like Black Cat. I think it may be, I mentioned Mysterio as well, but I would say the main one is Black Cat in this instance for most of the competition. That being said, I think to really understand why Northstar is so amazing, we really need to start off with his passive ability. So, I mean, a lot of this, for the record, for those who don't know, and I mean, it should have been obvious, but I'll say it again. Alpha Flight is a war defense and raid team. You're going to be able to use them in the Spotlight raids specifically, and it's probably going to be a couple of weeks at least until their offers fully come out for all the characters. But Northstar is so important. He is going to be the main damage dealer of this team as well. So on spawn, apply evade to self and all Alpha Flight allies. Great. Clear all charge from this characters. That's just so he doesn't carry over charges into different battles, particularly because it does a shit ton for his kit. On enemy death, apply speed up to self and all Alpha Flight allies. Now, I mentioned this when I did one of my gameplay videos on Alpha Flight in the raids. Basically, when anyone dies, there's a shit ton of things that happen, both negative effects on the enemies and positive effects on your team. Each of the characters seem to more or less have like a different thing where on enemy death, this happens. And so this is the version for Northstar here, which gives speed up to all allies. When this character or any Alpha Flight ally is attacked, gain 1 charge up to a max of 10. You'll see where that kind of goes in with the other kit attacks as well. Focus and resistance, all that for the team. In raids, enemies cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies. Super, super important there. What's actually really interesting is that, hypothetically, you could probably use them in other raids. It's just that, in the mutant raids, for example, but it doesn't have the X-Men tag. I think if you had the X-Men tag, that actually would give a lot of synergy over some of the other characters, like, say, Cyclops, if you didn't have Old Man Logan, which is the person that I recommend replacing Cyclops with. In raids or on war defense, now this is where things get juicy. On enemy death, apply slow to all enemies. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they speed up when an enemy dies, so that's outside of raids and war defense. But this is now then applying slow to all enemies as well. While this character does not have exhausted, self and all Alpha Flight allies cannot gain slow and cannot have their speed bar reduced. This part is huge. Now, it's a shame that they're kind of adding this exhaust thing basically to kind of nerf them, so you can do like a sack attack on them and it makes them a lot easier. But that really prevents them, I guess, from just, snowballing and like winning 10 times in a row, because that's what used to happen with Heroes for Hire back in the day during war defense. While this character does not have exhausted, enemies cannot gain charged. This is super critical for a couple of reasons. One, this neuters characters like Black Knight and Out of Time for those of you who are using them on war offense. It also is really good because it's doable. This part of his kit is usable without any of the other team members. So hypothetically, you can plug and play Northstar with a team that people would often use Out of Time against. Now, I am not the foremost expert on Alliance War. That much is obvious. However, I've been told that people use Out of Time against Sinister Six on defense. So what happens if you were to plug Northstar in there, for one of the lesser members that could be replaceable, and then all of a sudden, they try to go in with that, and then Black Knight can't gain charges? That's a pretty big deal. This also means that in the future, when Alpha Flight possibly, is not as meta anymore, that you can still use this part of the kit with Northstar in other teams. And I think that's huge. Enemies cannot gain charge. Like, this is a pretty big mechanic. It's not as big as like, Apocalypses can't gain safeguard, but this is still pretty big in my opinion. So something that I think is going to keep him useful for some time to come. It's unfortunate it's locked to war defense, but still it's going to be a plug and play value there. While this character does not have exhausted, gain 250% focus for the entire team, and then also 25% speed to himself and Alpha Flight allies. This is not with the exhaust feature though, or without the exhaust feature, but in raids or on war defense. Sorry, you can use it. Exhaust does not apply. That's what I meant to say. So let's move on to his kit. And this part, I think, is going to be giving him a lot of plug-and-play value for places like Cosmic Crucible. I might be able to test that here today. We'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to use it. But I think that for newer accounts and also for veteran accounts, I think there's going to be some usage here. I think for newer accounts, this might actually have more value, in fact, because there's less that you can do about Revive Once, when you're a new mid-game player. But anyways, flip all positive effects and clear Revive Once on all enemies. That is huge. There are a few other characters that can do that, like Cyclops, but Cyclops is kind of slow, so I just don't know how much viability you can get on that necessarily, and a lot of people have Extreme X-Men also on defense, so that's the thing too. This will be useful in clearing Revive Onces, both in that Room 5 right now, Cosmic Crucible, but also anyone that uses Dormammu. This is a potential plug-and-play value here. Attack all enemies for 240% damage plus 10% per charge. slow for 2 turns, disrupt for 1 turn, and prolong the duration of all negative effects by 1. Now, what's really interesting is that it's flipping first and then it's prolonging. So, whatever you end up flipping with Northstar, you add on all those debuffs down here and you're prolonging by +1. So, you're basically always going to have 2 turns of whatever negative effect that it ends up getting prolonged, minus stun, trauma, and ability block. And you could potentially get 3 turns of slow because it's going to be applying the slow first and then extending by 1. So disrupt 2 turns, slow for 3 turns, and then flipping everything else and then extending that by. It's just insane. On war defense, clear charge on all enemies as well. So I guess if they're, I'm not sure how this works. Oh yeah, okay. So I guess this part is usable outside of the exhaust feature. So it's possible that they still could have charged on the second or more attacks, but this will then clear any charges that they already have, and it's unavoidable. What I really like about the unavoidable part is it could also be really good against characters like Spider Society, who have a shit ton of buffs. They can evade and things like that, but then with this Hyperlight Twister attack, you can't avoid it. So really, really great, and it's going to flip all positive effects. Super, super good skill. His special is going to be more useful in raids, I think. But anyways, it attacks the primary target and applies blind for 2 turns. I do like that it's on a cooldown of 3. And depending on how many charges he has, he rebounds to that many times. So rebound chain for 170% damage, up to a max of 10. It's dependent on how many charges he has, and 50% chance to apply blind on each secondary target. So that's pretty good. The only downsides to this is that counterattack does break this chain. In raids, it's a guaranteed blind rather than a 50% chance. So when you're using them in spotlight raids, this is going to be really crazy. Also, you can hit the same target, so you could get multiple turns of blind up to a max of 3, which is pretty nice too. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So again, something that's going to be really, really good against Spider Society, in my opinion, because again, unavoidable, can't be blocked. Penny Parker actually has a lot of deflex and blocking mechanisms, which is really annoying. And so they won't be able to, you'll be able to stack up blinds with this too. Really, really good character. That's kind of where I'm currently kind of seeing their value, I think, is going to be going up against Spider Society. But who knows? You could also use them to, clear revive once as well, which I think will be really good. And his basic, it's nothing super big, but if he has 10 charges, he can apply trauma to the primary target. That's pretty interesting as a striker attack feature. Also, and the offense down as well. But this is usable outside of raids and war defense. So this is usable in all game modes, which I think is pretty cool. If he's able to get there. I mean, if he gets to 10 charges, he's hitting for like 500% damage and he's applying trauma. That's pretty good. So this is probably more likely within his team, unfortunately, because he does get 1 charge when he gets hit, or his team. So again, that's probably likely, but by himself, it's very unlikely he's going to get to 10 charges. So that's the only way he actually builds up his charges. But nonetheless, Northstar is a very, very good character, and I'm looking forward to exploring with him this week and getting some chance to show off some footage with him. I think that I'm actually going to probably plug and play him on war defense after my war is over, because I don't think there's going to be a ton of value with just like him, Wolverine, and Sunfire, the 3 of them. I'm not sure. Maybe there is. Maybe you could combine them with someone like Rogue on war defense for a tank, and somebody else, maybe Dazzler as well. She's kind of free. She's a free agent as well. So maybe there might be some value there. But otherwise, I would do what I mentioned about Northstar's passive, would be just plug and playing him in teams where you think that they would use out of time to beat that team, because it'll stop them from getting charges. And he has a really crazy kit. That's just my thoughts. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, please do let me know if you have received tokens for Alpha Flight, because I have not on this account or my alt account, and I'm curious whether or not it's coming, or if this is just another lie by Scopely. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.